Hey everybody, David here, and today I want to talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 2, The Star-Spangled Man. If you don't know what that title indicates, it refers to Captain America. That's right, the Star-Spangled Man with a Plan. That was that song from the original Captain America movie. If you remember that, back in the 1940s, they sang that song when Captain America was being used as a propaganda tool. So in this episode, let's get right into it. We start off in meeting this John Walker character, played by Wyatt Russell, by the way, who I did not realize that. And the fact that he was also the son of Kurt Russell in real life. Funny enough, Kurt Russell, also in the MCU, who played Ego, the Living Planet, in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I thought the introduction of this character was pretty interesting. I wasn't sure if they were trying to make him sympathetic or not. It seemed like that in the beginning. Like he seemed okay, maybe he's not too bad, but there is something about him that I don't know if I can trust all the way. But we see he has a friend and maybe girlfriend. I wasn't too sure if that girl. I guess she was indicating that they have a relationship in the past. But we see that this guy's a little nervous on taking on this mantle, which is fair because Captain America is a huge name. Even though we all know who rightly deserves the shield, for some reason the U.S. Military or the U.S. government decided to pick him to be the new Captain America. And we see him go out into the football stadium and he gets this interview, and we see that Bucky is watching this interview, not happy with what's being said, especially the part where John Walker decides to say, yeah, I kind of studied Steve all my life, where to the fact that I kind of feel like he was almost like a brother to me. And you can see when that was said at that moment, Bucky does not look happy. So this guy admits, he trained super hard. A lot of these facts are thrown out about him. And we see how much he's been training and fighting in the army. And despite the fact that he doesn't have super soldier powers, he still has proven that he can take up this mantle, and he thinks all it takes is that he has a lot of guts and determination, right? So we then go into a scene where we see Bucky confront Sam. Sam is about to go on this mission to find these flag smashers, and Bucky confronts Sam and says, hey, Sam, you shouldn't have given away the shield. And I really liked this relationship starting from this point onward all the way. I think Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie have terrific chemistry. Obviously, these two have been fooling around ever since Captain America. I feel like it was Civil War where we started seeing that interaction in interviews and stuff. I don't remember during Winter Soldier, but definitely through Civil War and onwards. I mean, that was some of my favorite press tour behind the scenes, was seeing Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, especially when they would mess with Tom Holland a little bit. It was so much fun. Their chemistry shines in this episode throughout. I loved seeing their bickering, their interactions with one another, and some badass moments too, right? So Sam says he can't talk about the shield right now, which I wanted them to talk about the shield, man. And we eventually get that in the episode. Towards the end of the episode, we finally get that conversation fully fleshed out, although it becomes a little awkward. But Bucky decides to go with him on this mission. Okay, you're fighting these flag smashers. I'm going to go with you. So Bucky goes with him, and we get a badass action sequence with Bucky and Falcon kicking some ass on top of these trucks. Once again, showing the quality of the show is amazing. The fact that we're getting a Marvel superhero show on television like this is because, I watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I watched the Arrowverse, I watched Smallville, I watched so many superhero shows throughout the years, nothing as quality as this. The quality in this show is like, wow, this feels like a movie, and I love every minute of it. And so seeing that action sequence and how well choreographed it was and how well structured everything, man, on top of the trucks and them falling and everything. And then we get John Walker and his partner, his buddy Lamar Hoskins. They show up. It's kind of like Cap and Sam in some ways, right? It's the white guy dressed up as Captain America with his black sidekick. What's interesting about Falcon and Winter Soldier, though, is if we know the way it's going, Falcon will become the Captain America role and Bucky will become the sidekick. So I find it interesting that they're playing that dynamic a little bit here already. And I really do like it. I mean, like, a lot of people expect, oh, Captain America should be the white guy and the partner should be the black guy. And no, it shouldn't be like that. But that's the way the comics have been structured. And lots of people think, well, if someone's going to be the next Captain America, it should be Bucky. But not necessarily. This show is giving us reasons why Bucky is not stable enough to hold the shield, and that Sam, there's a reason why Sam was the one that Steve chose, and Bucky is very much aware of this. And so we get John Walker and Lamar Hoskins teaming up with Falcon and Bucky, kicking ass together. But we see some interesting moves that John Walker decides to use, like a gun, something that Steve would never. Well, okay, Steve has used a gun, I guess, in the past, right? But not very often, right? It was something as a last resort kind of thing. And this was not a last resort. He just got the gun out and was about to shoot these guys. These guys show that they have incredible strength because they are super soldiers. How is this possible? How do they have this strength? That's something that's going to have to be resolved throughout the series, obviously. So all of them are eventually thrown off the trucks, and the Flag Smashers escape, right? And later we get an interaction. We get to have Bucky and Sam interact with John and Lamar, and They basically say, hey guys, why don't you join us? Let's do this together. We can teamwork, man. Sam, you can be my like Cap. You were Cap's wingman. You can be my wingman too, man. And that's where Sam's like, nah, I'm good. And Bucky was already out of there as soon as Lamar Hoskins, he was like telling his backstory and the shit. And so when the both of them leave, that you could see John Walker is starting to have a little issues with that, right? He's like, these guys are disrespecting me, man. What the hell? But we later see the Flag Smashers. Apparently, we find out that people are helping the Flag Smashers, Flag Smasher sympathizers, if you will. And some people, these are people that have been helping them hide out for a while. But we do know, like, people are tracking them down and trying to find them and trying to stop them. It's making me wonder if the Flag Smashers are not really the right now. They're making us think they're the villains, but clearly I think this episode is kind of showing us that maybe they're not as bad as we think they are. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out, but there was an indication on when the girl was looking at her, which we found out her name today. It was Carly Margantho, something like that, right? Carly. We'll call her Carly. And she looked at her phone and she received a threat on her phone at one point. So it made me wonder, I wonder if there's something bigger. Maybe there's something bigger at play. We'll have to wait and see, I guess, on that, right? So Bucky has a plan, though. and he decides to take Sam to go meet Isaiah Bradley, played by Carl Lumbly, who, if you are a huge Justice League fan, you know Carl Lumbly is the voice of the Martian Manhunter from Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. He was also in Supergirl recently, funny enough, playing the Martian Manhunter's father on Supergirl, like last or 2 seasons ago or something like that. It was not too long ago. He was on not too long. I know they killed his character off recently, but so I'm already aware of him as an actor, and I know he's done some live action performances to Supergirl, but other things as well. So Bucky and Sam go and visit him, and he's in this old town. I really like Sam's interaction with the kid that saw him. Hey, you're Black Falcon, right? And Sam is like, what? I'm Black Falcon? Why? Because I'm black? And and the kid goes, yeah. And what should I call you? Black kid? And the other kid starts laughing, and Sam's like, see, I got him. I thought that was pretty funny. It's like, yeah, it's true. It's like, why assume that he's called Black Falcon? It's like, number one, his color is red, so I would have assumed that he's Red Falcon. It's similar to like Black Lightning. Like, why do they call him Black Lightning if he's more in blue than black? Like, okay. It's just funny because, Black Panther, right? And I'm surprised they didn't actually bring him up during that little conversation. Yeah, like Black Panther, he's black. But they didn't go there, so that's fine. So they go to Isaiah Bradley's house, and Bucky knocks on the door, and this kid comes out and says he doesn't want to see anybody, so get out of here. But Bucky says, hey, look, tell him to remember this place. I forgot where it was right now. I think it was in Korea, and the guy goes to tell Isaiah Bradley what Bucky said, and then they are invited in, and we learn that Isaiah Bradley was a super soldier that fought him in the 1950s in Korea, fought Bucky, and because he reveals his powers when he starts getting upset during the conversation, he throws something to the wall really up hard that it goes almost through the wall, and it's like, holy shit. And Isaiah Bradley mentions how he even almost beat Bucky back in the day too. But unfortunately, some shit went down where Isaiah Bradley was like, they fired him, or and he didn't live a great life. Obviously things didn't go too well after those events, it seems like. And mirroring how I was hearing in another podcast how that's similar to something that happened during, I think, the Vietnam War, where soldiers were, I better not go into it because I'm gonna mess that up. I'm not the biggest history buff, but there are some ties from what I heard, like in reality, to how they treated black men back in the day. So after Isaiah Bradley tells them to get out, they leave, and Sam gets upset about this. Like, why didn't you tell me about this guy? I think we're gonna learn more about Isaiah Bradley later on in the season. That's a story left unfinished that I think we need more information about. I don't think he's gonna just be a one-time deal and that's it. There's more there that they need to go back for, unless they find another way to find out about it. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Sam starts getting upset with Bucky. We see some police officers come by. They notice that Sam's angry, and it looks like something intense might have happened almost, until Bucky tells the police officers, hey, you know who this is? Like, he's pointing out, just because he can tell these guys, they're racists, and they're not thinking clearly. And that's where they snap out of it and like, these guys are Avengers, man. And so they calm down, but another police car comes and tells Bucky, hey, we got to take you in because you didn't show up to your latest therapy session. And so they take Bucky instead. I really did think it was starting to get a little intense there, and I was a little worried what was gonna happen. I'm like, Disney's not gonna go that far, are they? I mean, obviously, Falcon and Winter Soldier feels like it's a much more mature series compared to WandaVision. WandaVision was really great too, but I feel like this is like a little bit for more of an older audience, a little bit, because there's themes in this that I don't know if kids can handle. I think they still do it in a PG-13 way where kids could still watch this. Not very young kids, like PG-13 kids, obviously. 13 years of age at best. But it did get a little intense, I thought. I thought it was going to go in an area that I was going to be surprised if they did. And they didn't go there. But I would have applauded them if they I was interested to see how far they would have leaned, and they leaned in there. I guess they thought it was enough. That we'll see if they get back to topics like that at hand. I'm curious. So Sam goes to the police station to get Bucky out, but his doctor's already there, and what's her name? Dr. Rayner, and Dr. Rayner's there, but she didn't bail him out. It was actually John Walker who's there at the police station already, and he says that Sam and Bucky are assets that he's gonna need, and he tells Rayner, Dr. Rayner, to hurry up with them, and because he's gonna need them as soon as possible. The scene with Dr. Rayner talking to Sam and Bucky is probably one of the funniest things I've seen come out of this show so far. And this is only 2 episodes in. And their little interaction together in the room, where she tells both of them, look at each other in the eye and come out and talk, and they're putting each other close, and they don't want to get too close, but they force themselves eventually. And I love the interaction there. I watched this episode like at 4 a.m. in the morning. And I didn't think I could laugh that much in the morning, because I thought I'd be too tired, but I was laughing quite a bit. And eventually, Dr. Rayner tells Bucky, hey, look, you be honest this time. Look at him in the eye and tell him how you feel. And that's where Bucky finally drops everything and tells Sam what he was bothered by. Why did he give up the shield? Because if he was wrong about Sam, choosing Sam to take the shield, then he was wrong about Bucky being redeemed. And that's why, and you can feel like the acting between Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie were really great in this scene. Because it started off really funny, and then it ended off like in a way where it's like, oh wow, this is getting a little emotional. So Sam has enough. Are you happy, Doc? After this is all over, we could go our separate ways and never see each other again. And so Sam leaves. And before Bucky leaves, the doctor tells him, hey, look, I see that look in you, and I know it's not good. What's wrong? And he asks her, what's rule number 2 again? And she says, don't hurt anybody. And all he says is, goodbye, Doc, which means Bucky might have to hurt somebody. Not necessarily anybody we know, but there might be a casualty later on. Once Bucky and Sam get out, they see John Walker and his buddy Lamar Hoskins. And these names are so hard to remember, everybody. They see Lamar and John Walker outside, and again, John Walker's like, come on guys, come with us, blah blah blah, help us out with all this. And Sam tells him straight up, hey, look, we work on our own, we work best that way, we're free agents, we're not going to be with you guys, sorry. And that's where you see John Walker's true colors start coming out. He's pissed off, and he's like, fine then, man, screw you. So clearly the gloves are off, and he even threatens him, hey, if you cross our paths, there's going to be some trouble. I'm paraphrasing, of course. I'm paraphrasing all of this. So I'm just trying to remember what comes to my mind. So yeah, meanwhile, the Flag Smashers, they get out of the place that they were, and just in the nick of time, because these people come for them. Who are these people? Are they the FBI? Are they agents of some sort? I have no idea. I'm sure it was said in the episode and I missed it. But or maybe it wasn't. Maybe they're Hydra for all I know. But yes, the Flag Smashers are able to escape on time, and that's about it. We get back to Sam and Bucky, and they talk about they're gonna, they bring back, Bucky brings back something that Isaiah said, that, hey, you people. And at first, even when you watch that conversation for the first time back with Isaiah, you think when he says you people, he thinks he's, oh, you white people. But really, Bucky says no, he was actually talking about Hydra. Hydra was the people that he was talking about, because Bucky was with Hydra back in the day, working for Hydra, and he starts saying, we're gonna need someone, that knows Hydra inside and out, and who is the best person who we dealt with in the past, and that's where Sam acknowledges Zemo. And what do we see? We see a quick glimpse of Zemo, which is probably Daniel Bruhl's his easiest paycheck today. You gotta love an actor who's just in one shot of an episode or a movie, and they don't say anything, and they probably got paid a lot of money to do that. Just sit there, stare, and do an angry face or something like that. And there we go. Cut. And it looks like we're going to be getting Zemo next week, which I'm really excited to see, because Baron Zemo, I think, is one of the best MCU villains out there. I think he was very layered as a villain, in my opinion. I thought he was one of him and Thanos are the only two villains in the MCU that actually accomplished their goals. So I am looking forward to seeing Zemo in this show and seeing what they do with him. And if you weren't a Zemo fan before, I think you're going to be a fan of Zemo now, because seeing already how Bucky and Sam are in this show, how already much more well written, and how much more character development they're getting, I am loving it. So I can't wait to see what is going to happen next week with Zemo. How is he going to factor into all this? Because I thought maybe he would have been the ones in charge of the Flag Smashers. Clearly that is not the case. Well, who knows? Anything is possible, but it doesn't look like that's what's going on. So we'll see. With that being said, guys, look, I think this episode was great. I think it was another great episode coming off from last week. I think the build-up, just like WandaVision, the build-up gets better and better. Episode 2 is already, to me, better than episode 1. And it's, I think, just like WandaVision, it's just going to get bigger from here on out. So with that being said, guys, I hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Leave down your thoughts and theories in the comment section below. And until next time, take care.